position. So in the top left-hand side, tied with his opponent, it is Millennium Stephano. Guard your daughters, because in the lower right-hand side, it is Liquid HerO from Team Liquid. And his Stalkers broke into a dance mid-battle last game.
They did that right as a bunch of Roaches were charging into him on creep. That's confidence. And HerO, like we said, he's a player who, if anything holds him back, it is his confidence. And a game like that is absolutely perfect for your mindset. He just completely controlled that, no mistakes at all. That's exactly the way he wants every game to go. And there's a lot of players like that. Like Jaedong himself was particularly famous for always losing the first game, and that gets him in the right mindset, and then he beats his opponent 3-0 after that. And you could see that from HerO here. That game was absolutely impeccable PvZ.
We have a little bit of a switcheroo going on here.
Is that a 12 pool? A very early pool, which
is an earlier pool, is it not? I feel like this
is... And any deviation from 15 pool from Stephano is odd. He just does not do that.
Now you'll notice, as a quick pointer here as well, for those of you that are watching NASL Season 3 all season long, this won't be that weird, but for those of you that are joining us perhaps for the first time, the middle bases are just that weird. They're actually, this is how it's meant to be.
5 bases and 1 gas.
Yes.
Or 5 minerals. And this is because generally this center base is so incredibly important, because not only does it give you a full resource patch, but it gives you center control if you can secure the center. And NASL just decided that was way too valuable, so they cut it down to a half base. I figure, if you get a half base,
and you
get center control.
NASL cares for the little guy.
That would just be too much of an advantage. So you have to give the other guy a chance.
Too much. Now we do see a Forge first coming out from HerO. The reason I point this out is, again, that's a little bit unusual. Cannon does go down right away, so I think this early pool will be ineffective. But as we see here, when I say ineffective, I don't mean that he's actually investing too much in it. Just 2 Lings coming out.
It is actually just 11 or 12. I didn't see 11 or 12 pool into an 18 hatch. Really good control from HerO there, delaying that hatchery just as long as he possibly can. So annoying with that probe, keeping it alive as long as possible. Actually forcing 2 Zerglings just to kill the probe. No pylon investment there at all.
Toronto, a fan of the hatch block. I appreciate you guys. Liquid HerO will get his Nexus down a little bit ahead of that hatchery. And again, it's kind of the same thing where we talk about harvester counts or base counts. Anytime the Protoss is in alignment with the Zerg in terms of economy, it's bad news bears for the Zerg.
Yep, with a 1 harvester count already, and as you said, a faster Nexus than the hatchery. That's always a good situation. Whoever gets their next big building down first usually is in pretty good shape early on PvZ. Obviously, not game ending at all, only 2 Zerglings. That wasn't a dedicated pool, it was just to clear out the scouting probe and get that hatchery and maybe scare his opponent. And it did do that. It forced the cannon much earlier than usual from HerO. So both players on pretty good footing right now. 3rd hatchery does come down from Stephano, and from HerO will transition into a normal game.
I mean, if the first 2 games are an indicator, this is what Stephano wants to do exactly. It's like a 24-3rd hatchery. Of course, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm getting so excited. There's the potential for a cannon rush here.
Yep, pylon coming down from HerO. Where are the Zerglings? The Zergling from Stephano has no idea. He has center control, and he thinks that he sees any probe coming out. So he is absolutely not concerned about this at all. He thinks there's no chance of this happening. I don't know how HerO snuck that out, but he did. The cannon's coming down. No response.
This is why you check under your bed, Greg. You check under your bed, and you check around your hatcheries, because somewhere there is a cannon, and it's warping in.
And this always happens exactly when you don't think it possibly can. The one time you don't check, those cannons are coming up. And this 2 cannons already.
This is going to crush his... I mean, this is tough mentally. Like, this is something you're not counting on happening. Now, I think the first
3 cannons.
Well, the next thing we ask ourselves, because on Antigua, you can take that 3rd in the middle. Again, we talked about how it's not as great of a map. There it is. Does he cancel the hatchery? He's got just a few seconds here to make his decision. No!
No cancel. The hatchery will go down. And 0 Zerglings in production. 2 Zerglings on the map. 3 cannons up with 2 pylon blocks. Absolutely no way he saves that hatchery.
And unless there was a secret buff to, like, the bench press of drones, there's going to be no defense here.
This is almost overkill from HerO. He doesn't need to kill the hatchery that hard.
Actually, the 3rd cannon does push it in the realm of, hey,
he does cancel the pylon.
This is not as bad for Zerg as it could be. 2 cannons is what you want.
That does mean he has a very, very established position here. It's going to be hard for Stephano to clear that out. So it's a great staging ground for any kind of 2-base all-in.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay. Probe does get focused down. That's kind of cool. I mean, when Broodlings pop out, a lot of Zergs just kind of let them do their thing for the 6 seconds they exist. But in this case, they get themselves a probe kill. 4th gas does go down for the Zerg. Do you just go Ling Infestor to kind of come back from that, or what do you do?
Most Zergs would take another base, either the center or this 12 o'clock base. However, if you look at this, he's actually putting down a macro hatch. I don't think I've ever seen that response before. Also getting the double Evo, so he will go 2-base Ling Infestor.
Yep.
Stefano doesn't mind that style at all. I was talking to him about it. I said, I don't like that style. I don't think it gives you enough aggressive potential, and it's not much of an economy. But he's absolutely comfortable with it. He has good enough read on when he can attack and when he can defend and when he can afford to make drones that it works out for him. But even given that, this is an uncomfortable situation. That third base is covered by 3 cannons, so it's going to be hard for him to take that out anytime soon. And that gives HerO the potential to warp in this area. Great potential for aggression. Although HerO is going for a Stargate, I think that Stargate means that he was intending for Stephano to take this base. Because this base would be incredibly exposed to any kind of Void Ray harass.
I mean, there are some more options open up to the Protoss player, too. We don't see any kind of gateways going down just yet, and with 4 gases, what I'm about to say might become more irrelevant, but with that forward pylon anchored by the 3 cannons, a lot of times you can do like a Void Ray gateway timing off that. But what HerO might say to himself is, you know what, I'm pretty far ahead, why risk it with some kind of timing? I could probably just use my Stargate units to secure a third, and then I'm at least equal in bases, but maybe +1 base, and that's a massive advantage.
Probably +1, because those cannons are going to hold on to that position for quite a while. Although we do have a Roach Warren coming from Stephano, so potentially make a handful of Roaches just to clear that position. But you don't want to make that many Roaches early on, especially against a 4-gas, very passive Protoss. If he's not doing any kind of aggression, you don't want to make those Roaches. Although, as we say that, 5 gateways come down from HerO. This could turn into a timing. That's quite a bit.
I am so intelligent.
You are.
I really feel like this is going to be 6 gates, and with just the 1 Void Ray, okay. He actually might not make... HerO, wait. Let me finish my sentence before you make me wrong. Second Void Ray is coming out, but I've seen players do like 1 Void Ray and say, hey, I'm going Stargate, and maybe there's Phoenix behind this, but then all of a sudden 10 Zealots show up or something, and that's a very strong timing that a lot of players will try to capitalize off that. If you notice, while he does have the Roach Warren, I think that was almost... I don't want to call it misinformation. No, he's upgrading the speed on it too.
He is going Roach speed. He's also getting the Infestation Pit. Going upgraded Roaches plus Infestor off of 2 base, that's a lot of gas being invested. He's not going to be able to afford more than 4 Infestors at the start. And 4 Infestors, that's quite a bit, but if your opponent controls as well as HerO, you're not going to get a massive chain fungal. You're not going to get unit kills off of those 4 Infestors.
Twilight Council does go down for the Protoss player, and again, the only scouting Stephano really has is the Protoss does not have a third. That's very interesting. With Void Rays floating around, does he know, hey, last game I faced a fast Robo, is that what it's going on? Or is it something else? And now we have sentries being escorted by a probe moving out to the middle of the map. I really do think we're going to see perhaps a Blink Stalker timing actually falling up the Stargate opener.
He is getting a Twilight Council just now, and he's continuing to upgrade. So that could be, usually with Blink Stalkers, you focus purely on the attack upgrade, but he is getting armor. That could just be a timing. Getting the cannons kind of messed up his upgrade timing. And really interestingly, he knows if he gets into this area, those sentries could die, so he's just choosing to focus down these rocks and open up the path to get those 4 sentries in there. Continuing to warp in Stalkers, you're right. No Blink upgrade, actually. He does have a Twilight Council, but no Blink upgrade, so maybe just a Stalker sentry attack with those 2 Void Rays in support. Stephano knows.
Yeah,
he's
knows
gearing up for an attack.
He knows. He's got 5 Spine Crawlers in production up there. Zerglings are going to circle around looking for the pylon. They might try to get surrounded this army. There is creep here and no detection, so they will be here and moving fast. Protoss players to be very careful. While he does have an advantage, there's no fallback here. We have 5 Infestors about to come out with Pathogen Glands, Greg.
We do, and this army is really, really clumped up. As we said, HerO has great control, but if he gets caught, that can all just die instantly.
This is looking to be a Zerg sandwich. Stephano is just asking himself, do I want it now or later? Here he goes. Forces go down. There's the
entire army.
They're getting fungled right in the core of the army. Now the Void Ray's getting shot down as well by the 4 Queens and the fungal. Stephano is killing the air department of this attack, and now the ground army's going as well.
The Zerglings coming in, another huge fungal on the entirety of Liquid HerO's army. Everything is just falling down here. Queen's in support. The last Void Ray still alive, but not for long. He goes down as well. And still reinforcing from HerO. He's trying to make this attack work.
And he's throwing down a Templar Archive in response to this Ling Infestor composition, but it just, I mean, holy crap, he wanted that a while ago.
I don't know why HerO actually went in with that attack. He saw 2 bases. He saw a purely defensive setup. He didn't know Infestors were out, but even then, attacking in the Spine Crawlers with a 2-base hauling, you don't want to do that.
No, and he's warping even 5 Zealots to try to save his cannons, but HerO, let him go. They're really old. It's their time. They had a good life. They killed a hatchery. It's every Protoss's cannon's dream.
Yep, and those Zerglings just run away, not even getting those really efficient kills that he wanted there. The only thing that HerO has going for him here is it's still the 2-base versus 2-base. Stefano is stuck on 2-base, which is uncomfortable for Zerg, but if you have Infestors, it's not nearly as bad as it is otherwise.
If you open the Protoss Bible, though, it says that if you ever lose your army, Well, that's actually the end of the chapter because you just died. You can't read any more of the Protoss Bible. But there is a third base going up off the backs of a couple of Templar with Storm being upgraded. 2 Zealots and a Sentry.
2 Zealots and a Sentry not generally considered the most powerful of fighting forces. He does.
If Stephano confuses this for like a Sim City game and just doesn't attack him for a while, then there is a chance the Protoss could hold this. But
that third Nexus gets up with Templar Tech going, and those Zerglings, those aren't going to be able to break in. Lots of Zealots for HerO. He can hold off just that. And only Zerglings, honestly, HerO can fight very efficiently with that, especially if Storm finishes. And he has an Archon morphing in. That'll help a lot. This could a good force field there. Cuts off half the Zerglings. These Zealots can deal with that. A nice warp in from HerO.
Did you say the Zealots can deal with this?
Yeah. The Zealots are pretty good.
They're pretty good. But in my head, I'm hearing the Imperial song from Star Wars as these
a bunch of infestors
waddling across.
He needs to feedback those. He absolutely has to feedback those.
And
but
he does have
his Templar are all clumped up.
Oh, it's pre-infestors. This would be a good time to do that right now, actually.
Yeah. The Archon comes in. He does not want to get that targeted down. He storms the infested Terrans, and they all just die immediately. Oh. We're having technical issues. I don't know what happened.
Oh, Greg, you're
I
disconnecting.
am disconnecting.
You're rage quitting from this, too? I'm sorry. Okay.
It looks like my computer shut down. We're waiting on technical support. I don't know what happened. Luckily, you are still in the game, so we should be able to continue to cast from your computer.
I've never had a commentator die mid cast, so I don't know what to do. Like,
well, to continue talking about the game, he does have Hive Tech up and 3/3 upgrades and Adrenaline coming. So
things are looking good for Stephano. I mean, like you said, he saw the Templar and he backed away. I think that's the right choice because actually those Templar have been around for a while. They had something like 6 feedbacks. Did the math in my head. That's usually 6 dead infestors, which upsets every Zerg.
They weren't in great position. They could have been caught by a fungal out of range, but that would have taken really precise control from Stephano.
Pause. I can't type.
That's weird.
Okay. Pause.
Okay, so I have been disconnected. Oh, and we have you on the stream, so we can just go ahead and cast from your computer.
There we go. I'm the camera guy, so treat me gently because I'm absolutely terrible at this. And Stephano's just going to go ahead and anchor down in the middle. Greg, welcome back to
my computer is now back on.
Now, HerO did hold that. He's not saturating the third just yet. We do have a couple of Archons, and honestly, if you're facing Ling Infestor, you
Archons
do want to
have. And he does not have Neural Parasite yet, so he cannot just remove those from the equation.
What really worries me, Greg, is that we have Corruptors and a Greater Spire about to finish. Protoss answer for those things. Blink Stalkers, Mothership, Storm helps, Colossus helps, but I just don't think HerO's anywhere near any of that. He doesn't have Blink, if I'm not mistaken, and he only has Storm.
Yeah, and he just doesn't have enough units to power through. Sometimes with Archons just deal so much DPS to the Zerg army that you can run through everything and kill it all. HerO's not at that point. He just doesn't have that big of an army. So Stephano is going to be able to sit back and build up a Broodlord army until HerO gets big.
And I really like how Stephano's playing this. I mean, I think he knows the advantage is his, but what he's doing right now is taking that Gimp fourth in the middle of the map, and he's saturating his third. He's really just waiting for Broodlords, which is something that a lot of Zerg players get a little bit overeager about. One of the mistakes we see a lot of Zergs make is, let's attack with Broodlords morphing behind. Wait until the Broodlords, and that's exactly what Stephano's doing.
Absolutely, and not even wait until the Broodlords. Wait until you have 10+ Broodlords. If you go with too few, 1 Blink in, 1 good Storm, 1 good Archon shot, and you can actually lose such a big investment. But Stephano's not the kind of player to get overeager. If he is anything, he is patient. He will wait as long as he needs to.
And I think one of the interesting things to talk about here, too, is that one of the strengths of HerO that a lot of people kind of key in on is his anti-Broodlord dealings. I mean, he gets those Warp Prisms around. He's even been known to hallucinate Warp Prisms. Did I say Broodlords? I meant Warp Prisms. But I just don't know if he can afford that kind of stuff. I mean, at this stage in time, he's about to mine out his main base because of the 2-base timing.
Stephano realizes an attack is coming. He's actually morphing in 10 roaches right now, which are great to hold off this army. And he has so many fungals built up on those infestors that have been around forever. This is going to be really dangerous.
The hatchery's going to die, but at what cost?
As long as HerO runs away, he's in good shape here. But he cannot commit that army. He cannot go in with that. And a Zergling counter and 1 cannon here, but very good SimCity. With a warp in, he'll be able to hold that off.
Oh, geez. The House of Mirrors, man, get out of there. Actually, they get good surface area on those Zealots. They will die.
But no
HerO's forced to come back.
Just a handful of pros go down, and Blink in kills off all the Zerglings. That was dealt with really efficiently by HerO, but they are only Zerglings. Those aren't too important in the actual battle that will come up eventually.
They're actually close in Harvester count, which is, again, bad news. And once again, they're on equal bases.
And a Mothership on the way from HerO. And the Mothership, that is the counter to Broodlords.
I feel like if you have a mothership and enough Archons to toilet it, you almost always have the chance to win a game.
Yeah, as long as you just have to pick your battles, and that is what HerO's great at. He has equivalent patience to Stephano. Everything will. Oh, a huge fungal.
Oh, there's a big fungal.
Not that big actually.
Stalkers, or excuse me, Templar push forward.
That
They're looking
was a
for
big
feedback.
fungal,
We're having a bit of engagement here. Broodlords are coming over. And HerO does not want to fight just yet. He's not losing very much, mind you. He's doing a good job blinking back, trading out a few zealots for units of Stephano. Stephano does have a bit of a bank and only a slight supply lead, but it's all about the army compositions, as that mothership is just moments away from coming out. But even then, Greg, it needs time to have enough energy as well.
It does. However, there's not great creep spread. There's still only those 6 Broodlords there, and only 6 Broodlords, but that's enough that you can blink in, you can use your Archons, you can possibly fight that off. Especially with Cloak, I don't believe there's any Overseers just yet. This kind of game, you don't really expect a mothership just yet.
Right.
It's a very uncomfortable game. Usually you're dealing with other stuff you're not teching up.
I mean, Stephano is pulling out all stops. All the units are coming out. He's adding roaches and lings here as well. He has a good base of infestors. Not a great base, mind you. Only having 8 is a little bit dangerous. If you lose a few of those, you're all of a sudden in tough waters.
But all but 2 of them have full mana.
Yeah.
So that's much more powerful than the normal 8 infestors that you get. So HerO's just going to have to be absolutely incredible. He wants to slow this game down. He wants to get a Vortex out and start running his Warp Prisms all over. Because as you said, they are pretty close on worker count. Stephano is just now securing his 4th base.
Well, that's the silliest can I've ever seen shoot up in my life.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that's there. I guess he's going to start taking that position and then push forward to that central base. We have a Warp Prism coming around the top right of the map. That gets into the main. Stephano's army is still pretty small and very big unit heavy. That's a Corruptors chase it down. And Stephano with just perfect map awareness.
To be honest, this is the most underwhelming storm drop I could ever see. It's like,
yeah, there are actually 2 Templar in there, meaning he'll lose 2 Templar.
Gas. Why us?
He should feedback a Queen. So he does feedback 1 Queen, kill it. Does not have enough mana to kill the second.
Well, wait for it.
Maybe.
And I have enough for a feedback.
There we go. That was a very dedicated 2 Queen kill, but at least he does get the 2 Queens.
I imagine some kind of like weird Dragon Ball Z charge up that he was doing over in the corner, but Zerg player has anchored himself in the middle of the map, and I'll tell you what, HerO has had enough time to make his army the one that he wants. The Warp Prism attack, of course, underwhelming, but stay tuned. If there's anything HerO knows, it's that he needs to keep doing that to buy himself time. Now, we talked about this. One of the storylines for Antigua is how hard it is to take a 4th. We see HerO chipping away at the rocks here. He's got his pylon. He wants to take this 6 o'clock base as his 4th.
I really like that move from him. Stephano, as you said, has center control. Those Broodlords and those Infestors from that high ground are just so powerful. But they're also very immobile. They're not going to get down to 6 o'clock without exposing themselves to a Vortex, to a better attack. Yep, no Neural Parasite just yet for Stephano, so that mothership is even more powerful than normal. And those Archons cannot be removed from the battle, which is so important for Zerg at this stage.
I mean, one of the most dangerous things about this is that, honestly, in a straight-up fight, this army from the Protoss dies to the Zerg army. But if it gets Vortex, you stick those Archons in that toilet, and they are gone. I mean, without Neural Parasite as an ability to go ahead and try to take the mothership for yourself, this game could still be HerO's, and that would be such a robbery. I think Stephano's playing this beautifully, but it comes down to that 1 Vortex.
Yep. Or the feedbacks on the Infestors. That's so much mana on those Infestors. He really just needs to deal that either with a perfect split or with feedbacks. The attack is coming in. 2 feedbacks, 1 fungal.
To go down, whiffed on the fungal.
Yeah.
But here comes that mothership. She's starting to wander forward. No, going to back away. Good spread from Stephano.
Very, very good.
He knows what game's afoot, and he does not want to lose this. This is a pivotal match. They're both tied 1-1 on Antigua Shipyard. Now he's going to push forward with a segment of his Broodlords, and there's not a whole lot over here, and by not a whole lot, I'm being polite because there's actually nothing. Zerg player is looking to make more Broodlords as well.
HerO swinging around from a better angle. Really nice move from him. Good blink. Picks off half the some of the Broodlords with absolutely no losses. Big fungals.
Here it comes. Wait for it.
There's a big Vortex available.
There's the Vortex.
Archons will move their way in there.
Yeah, there's nothing in there, though.
2 Archons in. That's enough to kill them off.
But it's just not enough Broodlords. Actually, look at the Broodlords are outside of that. They're still...
But they're undefended.
Yeah, they're
Broodlords are falling down.
Picked off. And 1 toilet gets all of those Broodlords. The Archons are surrounded. And they might go down here. Stalker's
so
looking
many
to blink
Broodlords
forward.
left.
The Infested Terrors are doing so much damage. But
Another
there's not a lot of
blink.
Broodlords here.
And another Vortex takes out all the rest of
He's fighting against the Vortex.
There's only 1 Broodlord remaining outside the Vortex, but there's nothing in that Vortex to kill off the Broodlords. And Stephano won that battle handily.
With the mothership gone and the production of the Zerg behind this. Welcome back, Broodlords. I hope you enjoyed your stay in that wormhole. And
And Stephano's going in for the kill. He's making pure ground units. He's not going to try and resupply his Broodlord Infestor army. He's just going to go in and try and kill this base
and I think
with
that's
overwhelming
such a good
reinforcements.
choice. Waiting for the Broodlords would be an opportunity lost.
Big storms there.
4-base Protoss is so dangerous with the Templar counter
storm.
back. To be honest, the storms are a little bit underwhelming, but there are Stalkers and Archons kind of taking shape over here. A lot of Infestors and Roach and Ling behind these Broodlords, just waiting for that blink forward.
Yeah, those Broodlords are just so hard to deal with in this situation as Protoss. So if we look at the supplies, it's actually 99 to 173 in favor of Stephano. And a good circling counter. He realizes that HerO's focusing everything on the season clock defense, and he actually just can't deal with anything back at home.
And here we go. That's the final blink forward from HerO, and that's it. GG. And I thought that was, I mean, the first two games have their moments where it's pretty cool. We see the timing from the Protoss in Game 2. We see the timing from the Zerg in Game 1. People are yelling at me or something. But in Game 3, we really saw them go head-to-head, and that's what I want to see on Tika Shipyard. That middle control is so important. Greg, as you talked about, that base, if it's a full mineral line and double gas, Stephano's really rewarded for that. But even with just his advantage, HerO knew he had to push the aggression, otherwise he was just going to get washed over in a super Broodlord army.
Yeah. The control on that engagement from Stephano was just absolutely perfect. You know, we said HerO's control on the engagement was actually perfect last game, but here Stephano could not have done that better. He spread it out really, really well. He minimized the vortex. Those were pretty much the best vortexes that HerO could get in those situations, and Stephano just dealt with it perfectly.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we go into our next game, and with the 2-1 advantage for our Zerg player, Stephano, we're going to do a quick commercial break. We'll see you guys soon.